Adapting to a new city. Moving to a new city is always challenging, but moving to a new country brings a whole different level of adaptation. This was exactly what Wilker experienced when he moved from Brazil to London in 2012. Having already lived in Portugal from 2000 to 2012, he was no stranger to the experience of adapting to a new culture, but the United Kingdom presented its own unique set of challenges. When Wilker first arrived in London, he was immediately struck by the city's diversity. People from all corners of the world walked the streets, creating a vibrant, multicultural atmosphere that was both exciting and overwhelming. The sounds of different languages filled the air as he navigated through the busy streets, reminding him that he was just one of many immigrants trying to build a new life in this enormous city. Finding accommodation was his first major challenge. The housing market in London is notoriously expensive and competitive. Wilker spent his first few weeks staying in a small hostel while searching for a more permanent place to live. He quickly learned that most landlords required references and proof of employment, which was difficult for him as a newcomer. Eventually, he found a shared flat in East London that was within his budget, though it meant commuting longer distances to work. Speaking of work, finding employment was another significant hurdle. Despite having experience as a driver in Portugal, Wilker discovered that many employers in London preferred candidates with UK work experience. He started by taking temporary jobs while improving his English skills and learning about the local transport system. After several months of persistence, he secured a position as a van driver for a delivery company, which later became his stable profession in London. The weather was yet another adjustment. Coming from the warm climate of Brazil and the mild weather of Portugal, the gray, rainy days of London took some getting used to. Wilker learned to always carry an umbrella and dress in layers, as the weather could change rapidly throughout the day. He often joked that he had never owned so many sweaters and jackets before moving to England. Perhaps the most significant adaptation was the language. Although Wilker had studied English before and had some basic knowledge, he found that understanding different accents and keeping up with fast-paced conversations was much more difficult in real life than in classroom settings. He would often feel frustrated when he couldn't express himself clearly or when he misunderstood important information. To improve his English, Wilker adopted several strategies. He started watching British television shows with subtitles, listening to local radio stations during his driving shifts, and practicing conversations with his flatmates and colleagues. He also discovered language exchange meetups where he could practice English while helping others learn Portuguese. These efforts gradually paid off, and his confidence in speaking English grew steadily. The transportation system in London was both impressive and confusing at first. The extensive network of buses, trains, and the underground provided excellent connectivity, but understanding the zones, fares, and the Oyster card system took time. As a driver himself, Wilker was intimidated by driving on the left side of the road, a practice different from both Brazil and Portugal. However, his professional experience helped him adapt quickly, and soon he was navigating London streets with confidence. Food was another aspect of cultural adaptation. While Wilker missed traditional Brazilian dishes and Portuguese cuisine, he embraced the opportunity to explore the diverse food scene in London. From Indian curries to Middle Eastern kebabs, the city offered endless culinary adventures. He even found Brazilian restaurants where he could occasionally satisfy his cravings for feijoada and pão de queijo when homesickness struck. Staying in touch with his daughter, Joyce, who remained in Portugal, was a priority for Wilker. Technology became his lifeline, with video calls allowing him to maintain their relationship despite the distance. He scheduled regular virtual meetings and made sure to visit Portugal during holidays. Though challenging, this arrangement taught him the importance of quality time and meaningful communication. Administrative matters presented their own challenges. Opening a bank account, registering with a doctor, understanding the tax system, and later navigating the implications of Brexit all required patience and persistence. Wilker learned to keep all his documents organized and to seek help from community organizations when needed. Over time, London began to feel like home. Wilker developed favorite spots in the city, a particular park where he liked to relax on rare sunny days, a coffee shop where the barista knew his order, and scenic routes he enjoyed driving. He established routines and traditions that blended elements of his Brazilian heritage, his time in Portugal, and his new life in England. Looking back on his journey of adaptation, Wilker recognized that the challenges he faced had made him more resilient and open-minded. His experience of living in 3 different countries had given him a unique perspective on life and strengthened his determination to learn multiple languages. Each difficulty overcome was a step toward building the life he envisioned for himself in London, a city that had transformed from a foreign place to his home.
Good morning, Wilker. Today, I'd like to hear more about your experience moving to London. It's quite a journey from Brazil to Portugal and then to the UK, isn't it?
Good morning, Emma. Yes, it's been quite a journey. When I first arrived in London in 2012, it was a whole different level of adaptation compared to when I moved to Portugal in 2000.
I can imagine. What struck you most about London when you first arrived?
I was immediately struck by the diversity. In my first week, I think I heard more languages than I could identify. It was both exciting and overwhelming at the same time.
London is indeed one of the most diverse cities in the world. What was your biggest challenge during those early days?
Finding accommodation was definitely a major hurdle. The housing market here is notoriously expensive, and as a newcomer without UK references, it was very difficult. I stayed in a hostel for almost a month before finding a shared flat in East London that was within my budget.
Yes, housing in London is a common struggle for many newcomers. What about work? You're a van driver now, but was that your first job here?
No, it wasn't. Despite my driving experience in Portugal, I had to start with temporary jobs while improving my English. Employers here preferred candidates with UK work experience. It took several months of persistence before I secured a position as a van driver.
That shows real persistence. And how did you find the famous British weather after living in Brazil and Portugal?
The weather definitely took some getting used to. I had never owned so many sweaters and jackets before moving to England. I learned to always carry an umbrella and dress in layers because the weather can change so quickly here.
That's a very British adaptation indeed. Always be prepared for rain, even on sunny days. What about the language barrier? Your English is quite good now, but was it always this way?
Not at all. I had studied some basic English before arriving, but understanding different accents and keeping up with fast conversations was much harder in real life. I often felt frustrated when I misunderstood important information or couldn't express myself clearly.
That's completely normal. How did you improve your English skills?
I tried several strategies. I watched a lot of British TV with subtitles, listened to radio while driving, and practiced with flatmates and colleagues. I also found language exchange meetups where I could practice English while helping others learn Portuguese. These efforts gradually paid off.
Those are excellent strategies. And driving in London must have been another challenge, especially driving on the left side of the road?
Absolutely. As a professional driver, I was initially quite intimidated by driving on the left. It's so different from both Brazil and Portugal, but my experience helped me adapt quickly, and now I navigate London streets with confidence.
What about food? Do you miss Brazilian cuisine?
I do miss traditional Brazilian dishes like feijoada and pão de queijo, and some Portuguese foods as well. But London's diverse food scene has been a wonderful culinary adventure. I've discovered so many new favorites, from Indian curries to Middle Eastern kebabs. And there are Brazilian restaurants here for when homesickness strikes.
Food is such an important part of feeling connected to home. Speaking of connections, how did you build your social network here?
That was crucial for my well-being. I connected with other Brazilian and Portuguese immigrants who shared similar experiences. Through work and language exchanges, I also made friends from various backgrounds. These connections really helped alleviate the loneliness of being in a new country.
And your daughter Joycey remained in Portugal, right? How do you maintain that relationship across countries?
Yes, staying in touch with her has been a priority. Technology has been my lifeline. We have regular video calls, and I visit Portugal during holidays. It's challenging, but it's taught me the importance of quality time and meaningful communication, even from a distance.
That must be difficult, but it sounds like you found good ways to manage. What about administrative matters like banking, healthcare, and taxes?
Those presented their own challenges. Opening a bank account, registering with a doctor, understanding the tax system, all required patience and persistence. I learned to keep all my documents organized and started seeking help from community organizations when needed.
Those practical matters can be so complicated. After all these years, does London feel like home now?
It does. I've developed favorite spots in the city. There is a park I love on sunny days, a coffee shop where the barista knows my order, and certain driving routes I enjoy. I've established routines that blend elements of my Brazilian heritage, my time in Portugal, and my new life here.
That's wonderful to hear. Looking back on your journey, what would you say you've learned from this experience of adaptation?
Looking back on my journey, I recognize that these challenges have made me more resilient and open-minded. Living in 3 different countries has given me a unique perspective and strengthened my determination to learn multiple languages. Each difficulty I overcame was a step toward building the life I envisioned for myself in London.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. Your experience shows how adaptation, while challenging, can lead to tremendous personal growth. And now you're working on learning even more languages beyond English, Portuguese, and the others you're studying.
Exactly. My experience adapting to different cultures has shown me how valuable language skills are. Now I'm determined to learn French, Spanish, Italian, German, and Romanian as well. It's ambitious, but I believe my experience has prepared me for this challenge.
With your persistence and adaptability, I have no doubt you'll succeed. Thank you for sharing your adaptation story, Wilker. It's truly inspiring.
Thank you for listening, Emma. Talking about this journey helps me appreciate how far I've come.